Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Do tell me if I need to add something else. Must I add aliens as well? All right. May I kindly request that we settle down? We are just about to start. I understand that the programs are on their way up. And as we are settling down, I'd like for us to observe a moment of silence. And here is how it's going to go about. Number one, the reason I'm asking for us to have this moment observed is mainly because we come from different backgrounds and you are joining a diverse institution which is multi-religious and cultural in nature. I do want to believe that not all of us at the same time can shout loud enough. So I'd like for us to observe a moment of silence in an opening prayer format, number one. Number two, I'm sure most of us, especially owing to the pandemic, we've lost loved ones and in many other different ways. In honor of those passing and in remembrance, I would like for us to also observe that moment of silence. But above everything else, because we are going to be working together in good terms, I believe, then let's observe that moment of silence in an opening prayer. Thank you very much. My name is Loiso Lange. Dingumpandla ke to those who understand. Dinguchayingo, dingutia, dingudobo. Dingukastyeketje, dingudlumvubo, dingudobo liyavutha licinywwa ngegazi. Dingunyana ke kumpumelelo ozalwa ngusiqhitsolo. Ozalwa ngulange. Ozalwa nguwiwe, ozalwa ngusarhili. Ozalwa ngudobo. Andizoyitsala ke I will limit it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2022 version of University of Fort Hare Orientation. For the benefit of those of us that do not yet have a program, I'll read through, I'm looking at my phone for that purpose. I'll read through how the program is going to look like so that we capture that in our heads, and then as soon as the printouts are handed to us, we'll then get to understand. So for welcoming, we will have the Registrar, Mr. Zuma. For the purpose of the day, we will have the manager from SCU, which is Ms. Msengana. We will then get a rendition from the University of Fort Hare Choir. And then there will be a keynote address from the Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Buhlungu. We will then get a message from the SRC President. We will also get a message from the Convocation President, Advocate Mini. Then there will be Gender Equity Office, the Acting Director, Dr. Ulfson. And then there will be Legal Affairs, the Deputy Registrar Legal, Ms. Maepa. Then there will be a vote of thanks from the Dean of Law, Professor Njotini, and after which we will then have our lunch. Now, I'd like just to lay ground rules. There's one entry and exit. That's not a random spot to visit. When there's a speaker on the floor, unless it's a very urgent matter, people can move in and out. But when there's a speaker on the floor, please respect the speaker on the floor. That's number one. Number two, I know we all have fancy cell phones. Very nice, good pictures. Can we keep them on vibrate at least? Because all the ringtones, I'm sure, can confuse a whole lot of us. We want to be able to register and understand what is being said here. So let's keep our cell phones on silent. Any form of noise whilst there's a speaker on the floor is not allowed. Otherwise, I've got a very sharp eye. I can pick a person up. I'm kidding. So without wasting much time, with you guys assisting to bring him on the podium, I'd like to welcome the Registrar, Mr. Zuma, to come and actually welcome us to the 2022 version of University of Fort Hare Orientation. Over to you, Reg.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Students, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's my very biggest pleasure and privilege as the Registrar of the University and also as a member of the Management Executive Committee to welcome you all this morning to the University of Fort Hare. The Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University is going to address this audience in a short while. But I want to firstly congratulate you for being successful in enrolling in this university, the iconic University of Fort Hare. Entrance to the University of Fort Hare is rather competitive all the time. So it is a privilege just to be here with us to illustrate that this acceptance of yourself into the university is a privilege. We, this year alone, received about 55,000 applications, but we only had about 3,700 spaces. So you can actually just see how competitive it has been for people to get into the University of Fort Hare. It looks like all the roads are actually leading down to the University of Fort Hare. You will agree with me then, on that basis that It is a privilege for you to be here at the University of Fort Hare. This is the place where you will actually interact and brush shoulders with the best of minds and the brightest of minds in academic and scientific sense. You will actually work with professors and academics of high standing in the land and also internationally. Those are the people that you will be engaging with through these years that you're going to spend with us. The scholarly experience that you're going to experience with us here at the University of Fort Hare is unequaled if you compare it to other universities. There are many people who have been regarded as luminaries over the years who are alumni of this university in terms of their expertise in science, in politics, in business, and so on. The names are just countless. We are a university that enshrines fair gender and race representation. We are a university that promotes freedom of speech within the limits that are set by the university and the law of the land. We are a university that promotes cohesion and inclusiveness in terms of our approach. We have well-founded governance structures that regulate how people in the university behave towards each other and towards the greater community out there. So our university is really solidly founded. Without saying a lot here and take the light from these other speakers that are going to speak, particularly the one that is going to be delivered to you by the Vice Chancellor, I want to conclude by extending very warm welcome to you all and assure you that the learning experience that you're going to encounter and experience through the university is going to be a very exciting one. I hope you will also find the other presentations that are going to be presented by the other speakers here very informative and helpful to you. There are staff members that are around here as well. Once all the formal presentations have been delivered, you are free to actually engage with the staff members that are here for information and other things that you might want to know about the university. Or with those few words, I would like to welcome everybody. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Registrar. Guys, a few things that I've captured from what the Registrar has said is that you sure must take maximum advantage of what's going to be offered to you by the university in order to assist you to become better as far as the studies are concerned. But above everything else, I think at all times, not only for the next few speakers, at all times whilst at the university, do pay extra attention to the information that's going to be provided in different platforms and make use of it in order to help you sail your way to your graduation day. Now, I'd like to just announce that with the following speakers, except of course for the VC, we might have to be very wary of our time. It seems there is plenty of you guys and limited space, and we are observing COVID-19 protocols, and we might have to actually have the same session with a different group, given that the technological challenges we are experiencing are not solved. They're supposed to be live streaming, but it has not gone on yet. So, is it live now? Oh, that's good. That's very good. Then it probably means the other students in the other venue might probably be seeing this. I was worried about that. Okay, nonetheless, Before I welcome Ms. Msengana, there's a few things she's taking care of. I'd like that rendition by the choir to come before her. And so as soon as the choir gets done with their items. Is the choir here yet? Is the choir here yet? You know, in Alice, I had very good vibes with the choir. I'm not sure here in East London. Can you guys, are you going to be rendering your item from there, or are you going to be coming up? But did you hear what I just said? I said, before Miss Msengana gets on stage, the choir has to be here. Okay, guys, I want you to understand something about the choir. They have recently been on TV. So I think they have that superstar feels. Sometimes they just want to be noticed. Guys, can you please ascend the stage in order to assist, especially with time? Whilst we await Miss Msengana, I'll be in contact with her. And meanwhile, you guys can be bringing them up. Thank you. Conductor. Conductor. Ndiyacela man, xa ujonga bekwayere ndamana ujonga ne. We have limited time. I can't excite this. Rene, your last item, I think Mr. Msengana is already on. But when you are doing this, keep your eye at the back as well. I'll signal you. A very beautiful rendition by Forte Choir. Enkosi guys, I'm sure Sopina Sinbone very soon. And I'm certain that Miss Msengana, whatever she's going to say, has been influenced by Ukando Ramayez from the choir. May we warmly welcome Miss Msengana on the stage. She is going to actually tell us about the purpose of today. Over to you, Miss Msengana. You have limited time.
Good morning. Molweni first years. Ninjani. Ndiyanibona nibahle ni bright, so I love that. Morning to the VC. Ndibulisa ku management yonke khoyo namhlanje, the deans and all the staff members that are present today. Mine is a really short one, just to give you understanding about why we are gathered here today. And, to make you understand as well, Uguti, as if first years, you are a big deal to the university. And it. So the purpose of orientation, there's two purposes that I have in mind. Firstly, management is that orientation is more than just welcoming the first year students at university. I believe that it is a way of the university to say thank you to these students, thank you to the first years for choosing to come to University of Fort Hare, because they had a choice was to go elsewhere, but they made the choice to come to UFH. So let's give them a round of applause for choosing this university. The next reason that I think is very important for us to understand why orientation is important is that perhaps if we understand what happens when we don't have orientation, when we do not orientate our first year students, what will happen is that we'll have a student that is very confused. A student that doesn't know where to go about because the environment is very big for a student to come and think that they can just navigate without having the necessary tools. So kubalulekile that we understand that the orientation is a program that is made to empower the first year so that they are able to take through their journey with the tools that they need to survive the environment. So what essentially the university is doing is setting an intention to position the first year student for success in the academic journey. Because the university knows very well that this journey is not going to be an easy one for you as a first year. So you mustn't take it lightly, because the university now doesn't take it lightly. We know that the journey is going to be difficult. It's going to come with the challenges, Zayo. But the university is saying, allow us to position you for success in your journey. So please, I invite you to please listen to whatever is going to be said here today. And when the notes, because our smartphones, because I'm not notes in the phones, and it take notes so that you can remember what is being said. But above all, make sure that you make note of who's coming and speaking here today and tomorrow, so that you are able to go, to these departments when you are in need of the services. Because after this, real life will start for you as a first year student. So you understand that you are not walking this journey alone. The university is with you. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Msengan. That was short and sweet. Guys, I hope you've noted that Ms. Msengan says you're going to be provided with navigation tools for your life or the journey of being a student at the University of Fort Hare. And she says you are not alone. So it means whatever information has to be provided here, you have to take note of and make good use of. So as I welcome the VC on the stage, I'd like just to share something very brief on why you should listen. There's a friend of mine, his name is Mr. Mdeleni. So this guy got sick and he went to the doctor. The doctor said, you're only sick because you are lazy and you need to wake up and run 6 kilometers every morning. About 6 days later, Mr. Mdeleni's wife visits the doctor and asks him, what is it that you said to my husband? Because he has been missing for 6 days. I've tried reaching him, but to no avail. Can you please call him yourself? The doctor calls Mr. Mdeleni, and he replies and says, the doctor asks, where are you, Mr. Mdeleni? Mr. Mdeleni says, I'm about 36 kilometers away from home. It's been 6 days. Why are you 36 kilometers away from home? You told me to wake up and run 6 kilometers every day. So Mr. Mdeleni missed the instruction and forgot to stay at home. I don't want you today to listen to what's being said and forget the role that you have to play. Otherwise, we'll find you 36 kilometers from Fort Hare in 6 days' time. VC, please Come and address us. We are all yours.
Good morning, all. Good morning. Izulung. Pindana food. Good morning. No. Good morning. All right, fine. Elected, Mr. Lang. I go on elected in East London. Where is this the next time? Yeah, it's fine. I might be business. Yeah, perfect. All right, good morning, students. I'm sure you now registered students, all of you. Have you registered? You've been allocated accommodation. You are sorted. You don't wireless. Okay, we're going to listen. We're going to listen to that. First of all, let me welcome you to this university, the University of Fort Hare. And like others before me, congratulate you on the successes. Especially the success in your grade 12, those who are doing grade 12, those who waited, whatever the case, the transition to university, from school to university is a very important one, and you've made it. And I think you can actually give yourselves a good, solid round of applause for that. My name is Sakela Buhlungu. I'm the Vice Chancellor here. I'm going to be talking to you. I'm giving a talk, not a keynote. Keynote is something else. There's a very fine distinction right there. By talk, I mean I'm going to talk to you. And I would like to kind of have some interaction, some body language interaction with you whenever possible. Let's do that. Choosing this university, I think somebody said, is probably the best decision that you've made in your lives up to this point. It's the best decision. You'll see why. There are 26 universities in this country, public universities. There are others that are bigger. I suppose they have more money, they are richer, and so on. I can take you there. But I will still insist that this is the best decision that you've ever made. And you're going to see it as we proceed. So it's a decision that you will not regret. It's a decision that you will not regret coming to Fort Hare. Please make use of the time. Some of you are here for 3-year programs, degrees. Others are here for 4 years. Okay? Doesn't matter. Don't overstay. You're welcome here. If you 3 years, finish the degree in 3 years, and then we'll meet on stage at graduation. If you're here for 4 years, finish in 4 years, we'll meet on stage. I'll be there when you graduate, the 3-year programs. And I'll still be there when you graduate your 4-year program. So I want us to be very clear about that. But in the interim period, please make yourself comfortable, not too comfortable. Make friends, work hard, and get to know more about the university, its history, the people in it, and so on. Study hard. Get involved in extramural activities, whether it's a choir, whether it's other sports codes, and there's a variety of things that will be introduced to you. So I'm going to leave it to you. But don't just come to university and sit, because uzawungena mischief. You get into mischief. Use your time productively. Learn. Learn languages. There's a diversity of backgrounds here. Don't think that everyone who comes to Fort Hare is from here or speaks is close. No. We have all the South African languages in the room. If your language is local, learn the languages of the people coming in from other parts of the country and the world. If you're coming from outside, learn the local languages. That's how university works. That's why we have residential universities. That's how you grow. That's how you get rid of small-mindedness of the village and the town. That's where your horizons, that's how your horizons broaden. So make sure, if you're taught that people out from outside are not like you, they behave, now is the time to learn about other people. And you'll be surprised, because you'll realize they're just like you in every respect. They may speak a different language, they may come from a different town or village, they may even eat different kinds of food where they come from, but they're exactly like you. They're exactly like you. It's very important. As I said, in 3 years and in 4 years, we'll meet you at graduation. We'll meet you at graduation. I'm sure at this moment, it seems very far removed from where you sit. You haven't been to your first class. You haven't written your assignment, your first assignment. You haven't done your first test. So 3 years, 4 years. But just to say, use that time wisely, because it's going to pass very fast. This university turned 106 years on the 8th of February. That's something that you must know. 8th of February every year is a birthday day for this university. It's a moment that we celebrate. It's a moment that we rejoice about, because we are a tried and tested institution. It was set up and started operating on the 8th of February 1916. 8th of February 1916 with 20 students. But look at you now, just this cohort, plus the ones in Alice. More than 3,000. Started with 20 young people. And of course, over the years, it grew and grew. And all of that happened in Alice. Anyone who has been to our Alice campus here? Raise your hand. You will never appreciate that history. Thank you very much. You'll never, until, take a trip. Take a trip to Alice. The Alice campus is history itself. It's got buildings going back to 1916, 1918, 1990, 1930. That's Alice campus. So it's a historical university and campus in the true sense of the word. Over time, of course, the university has expanded. Now, I don't know how to put it here, Mr. Lange. With the other group in Alice, said that when we finished 100 years in 2016, an exhibition was unveiled. It's in the gallery in Alice, and that exhibition has been there since 2017. And it's open, you don't pay, and I offered to take the 2 groups of 20 to walk them through, to take them through that history. And I forgot when I said all of this. I forgot about East London. So I said I will take 2 groups on a weekend and walk about, and I said then arrangements should be made for many others. Perhaps, Mr. Lange, I should make the same offer here. Now this is pushing it, right? That I will take from East London 2 groups of 20 the following day. So I'll do 2 groups a day, 2 groups of 20. First come, first served. They'll walk with me to Alice, walk through the exhibition. And within 2 hours, you get a very solid sense of the history of the university. So are there anyone interested here? Okay, that's 15. Okay, we can work with 15, Mr. Lange. I'll take that 15 on a weekend, and transport will be provided by Student Affairs. They'll take you to Alice. We'll take you through the gallery. You'll see all the people that we talk about, all these so-called legends that people talk about. You'll see them. You'll see pictures of the first graduate of this university in 1923, Professor Z.K. Matthews. 1923 was the first graduate, male. 1927 was the first woman graduate, Gertrude Ntlabati. It's all there. We have the Z.K. Matthews residence there. We have the Gertrude Ntlabati residence there. It's all there. So when you find time, don't sit in East London, because then your degree will not be complete unless you've immersed yourself in the history of the entire institution. So during this time, 106 years, we've produced many people. Sometimes we sell ourselves short. We produce leaders. Yes, we produce them. It goes without saying. But these are not just leaders in politics or political activists. We produce business people, leading CEOs, leading people everywhere, in every sphere. And it's not people just living in Alice or Eastern Cape or South Africa. People across the world have come to study here. So very, very important. Of course, it is also true that we produced 5 presidents. And maybe just you, might become the 6th president to have arrived, studied, and graduated for Fort Hare. Now let me do an exercise here, among just these people here. Who are these 5 presidents that studied at Fort Hare? Anyone? Just raise your hand there. Just raise your voice a little and maybe stand so that we hear. Robert Mugabe, yes, you are correct. You get full marks. Okay, the second one, let's count. Yes. Nelson Mandela, yes, you are correct. Yes. Are they new, those ones on the side? Yes, Mhlekazi, with the head? Yeah. Thabo Mbeki, you are so wrong. We're sorry, man. We're doing it. Kenneth Kaunda is unfortunately also, but just to say, Kenneth Kaunda, yes, was awarded an honorary doctorate from here, but he did not study here. So I want the 5 presidents. There's a hand right there at the back. I know that person is scared of making mistakes. At university, don't be scared of making mistakes. That's how you develop. Anybody else? Only 2. All right, I'll tell you later. Okay, any staff member who to help these first-year students out? Any staff member? Just name them all, the remaining 3. And Ntsumukhetle from Lesotho, Prime Minister of Lesotho, studied and graduated here. Another one? No, not me. I'm not a president. Anybody else? All right, I'll just to speed things up then. The 4th president was Seretse Khama, who passed on as Seretse Khama, president of Botswana. He studied here. The 5th one was President Yusuf Lule of Uganda. He also studied here. And of course, there's a variety of other people who were awarded honorary doctorates by this university. We're counting people who studied, who actually sat in the same place where you're sitting. So, as I said, you may just be, history may just dictate that you become the 6th president to come out of this country. Anyone wishing for that position? They're scared. They're scared of state capture. That's okay. There's one thing that's very important. When some of us went to university, we were first time in the family. First time in the family. And I imagine that for many, many, many decades to come, there will still be that first time in the family, first-year student. Okay? And I know most of you probably are. But when we were I was getting messages about the 106 years. One person says, congratulations, Fort Hare. Both my mother and my father studied there. As a matter of fact, they met there. So that's 2 generations there. The parents and the daughter. Is anyone here whose parent studied at Fort Hare? Raise your hand. Okay. Yeah. Okay, not bad. Anyone whose great parents studied at Fort Hare? Okay, great parent. Yes, a few. Now that's very, very important. Especially those of us who are first time in the family. We're carrying the family name. You are probably that person who's going to lift the name, the standing of the family, who's going to get the family name to travel to places way beyond the village, way beyond the township, way beyond the town where you come from. And that's the obligation that you carry. You carry that obligation. It's very important. As a matter of fact, Fort Hare is such a special university. It's not an ordinary university. It's not an ordinary university. There are people that I encounter. Well, I suppose myself too. I almost studied at Fort Hare, but I did not. I almost did. So I remain unfulfilled to this day. When I retire, I'll register for a course so that nobody does me a favor. I'll register for a course just to complete, to kind of complete, to finish that circle. But I meet people every day, people who are highly educated in South Africa, in Africa, and abroad, but who say, I feel that my education is not complete. I feel unfulfilled because I did not study at Fort Hare. And many of them keep inquiring, when can I do it? I met one on Friday. One person says, I want to enroll. The trouble is I have a full-time job. How can I do it? I just need that degree, that Fort Hare. There are many people like that. Now, this university, as you'll notice, has 3 campuses. The original campus, the main campus, is in Alice. Okay? That's the 106-year-old campus. There we have about 9,000 students, and of which about 70% are in residence. So there we have our own residences in one campus. They live together, unlike yours here that are scattered all over the place in town. Okay, so that's very important. And in other words, all the residences in Alice are owned by us. That's the point I'm making. The second largest campus is this one here, East London. About 6,700 students or so here, and about 3,300 of them are in residences. Now, the difference here is that the residences are not owned by the university. We lease them, we rent them, and then put students in. You see the difference? Yeah, so that's the second largest campus. This campus was very small, and then we inherited it from Rhodes in 2004. So that's where this campus comes from. There's some remnants of that moment with Rhodes. You'll see it in some odd places. Okay? Our plan, of course, is that in the near future, we shall construct our own residences here so that we can run them ourselves. We can ensure that there's security, much better security provided than it is now. Whatever the case, this campus has grown since 2004. We built the health sciences building that side. I can't remember what the name of that building is called, but that one was built. Some other buildings were built. The most recent to be constructed and commissioned in 2018 is the library, the Phyllis Ntantala Collaborative Library across the road. Some of you may have been there. It's a library, please bear in mind, it's a library that is owned and run jointly by 3 institutions that are in the city. It's the University of Fort Hare, which is the host. It's on our land, on our campus. But secondly, we have Walter Sisulu there. You'll see if you go there. And then we have UNISA. So it's a that's why we call it the collaborative library. Again, we expect you to look after all these assets of the university. The library, the buildings, everything. So that in 100 years' time, people will come back here and say, we're grateful to those generations upon generations that preserved this so that we can also use it. That will be, remember, we'll be here in another 100 years. Not us, not you, not I. The university will be here. People will come and go. I just want to make a few important points here. 2 important things here. You have, many of you, of course, have had that freedom, I suppose, but some of you are coming out of home, are leaving home for the first time, right? So you have freedom here. This is it. You've arrived at that thing called freedom, personal freedom. But there's the one thing that we explain. Freedom has got limits. It doesn't matter where you come from. So you don't come and think that you're going to come and do freedom all the way here. And you're not going to get a degree that way to begin with. But also freedom is also dependent on the freedom of others. In other words, where your freedom ends, there begins the freedom of the next person. You can exercise your freedom, but don't violate the freedom of other people. It's very, very important. Don't take other people's belongings. Don't step into other people's kind of territory, and so on and so forth. I don't want to dwell on it. But there are several things, and there are rules, therefore. Rules that govern behavior here. Violence. Asivumeli ke lonto violence apha tu. Violence is not allowed. There are rules, and we deal with cases of violence and perpetrators of violence very swiftly. Right, and now just stay clear. Don't break the rules. Don't violate. No weapons, no fists, none of that stuff. We're here to study. And anyone who violates, we're going to deal. Very friendly people. It's a very friendly university. I'll show you now, when I finish with this, I'll show you why we are friendly. The second thing is here, no gender-based violence. You must know. You must know gender-based violence. It is a scourge. It's something that terrorizes many people, which makes the lives of many, many people in the country a misery. As a matter of fact, and I'll say this, and I'm saying this because we've now come to terms with it, we've embraced it, I think we've settled down. However painful it was. Last year, we had a very painful moment on this campus. You know why, right? Yes, we had a very painful moment here. One of our students was murdered by a young man in the most gruesome of ways. And we still, as I say, our hearts are still bleeding, but slowly, slowly we've come to terms with it. But we're not forgetting. And I'm going to invite all of you not to forget. You may not have been there in person. You probably saw the story in the newspapers, you saw it on social media, you saw it on radio, or you heard on radio, and you saw it on TV. That moment, Kanostelo will remember it for as long as we live. And I invite you to, similarly, because as you keep it in your heart, it's also a constant reminder that gender-based violence has no place in this institution. Those who perpetrated, don't cover up for a gender-based violent person, don't cover up for them. Share information, because if you don't share, they'll do it to you 2 weeks later. Make sure you don't cover up for them, whether it's your friend or something. Young people, don't say, I remove the case, I'm withdrawing the case because we spoke on the side. No, that person is going to repeat it. That person is going to repeat it. Don't allow people to give you money to shut you up on GBV cases. And, very importantly, just like I said with violence, we are a zero-tolerant place for gender-based violence. Gender-based violence, as you probably know, knows no gender, but we know also that the majority of gender-based violence comes from men, young men. There's no question about that. May be clear. We have a policy with teeth. The other day in Alice, we were addressing a session like this. I said to them, I want to tell you a story, and perhaps I'll tell this story again in short, because it's very telling. About 3 years ago, a young man here was caught for rape, was processed through our structures, and he was expelled by the university. Came from some village, which I will not name. He sat there, and then about months afterwards, he obviously sat on the story. He didn't tell the truth to the parents. But he was around, herding the cattle and the goats and all of that, and the parents started wondering, why is this one so enthusiastic about livestock now? They should be at university. And then they put him here and said, what's the story? He says, oh, no, at the university, don't like me. They said, okay, let's go to Fort Hare. They came to me, and I said, give them they said, the mother said, I'm here to apologize for my son. By that time, the truth was out. That Mama Utini, but I'm here to apologize for my son. Could you please forgive him and let him resume his studies? He's the first time, that thing I was talking about, first time university kid in the family, and all our hopes are on him, that he'll pull us out of poverty. Cutting a very long story short, there had just been an incident at Rhodes University. A student was raped, and after a while, she took her life from the trauma. I said, Mama, is that a story? She says, yes. I said, okay, just be honest with me. Switch roles. Put yourself in the shoes of that mother. In the shoes of that mother whose kid has died. And then think about what you're trying to say to me. She withdrew from that instant, and they left. I'm saying, not your parent, not your uncle, not your father, nobody is going to come and apologize for GBV and we let you back in. You are out and out and out. And that probably will destroy your career and your life. Don't think that by touching, I was only touching. There's no touching, there's no only touching. GBV is GBV, and we know exactly what it is. So I just want to appeal. But also I want you to give me an undertaking that you shall, during your stay here, you shall not do GBV. Can I hear? Na kapinda ngakulu ngata in convincing. That's good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. No damage to property. La moya chisa matayar, algo buildings, chiswe buildings. You can see now with chiswe parliament, it's chaos in the country. Here we want people, professionals, who are going to protect and value belongings and property of the university. Yes, you may protest with placards, and so we'll listen to you. We talk to the SRC all the time. They are here. But if you think by burning things you're going to change anything, you're making a very big mistake. You're simply running the country down. Last year we saw Umbona Ombi, shopping malls. You saw that. Vehicles, trucks, trains being burned down. All what we're doing, we're throwing this country down the drain. And don't be the one. Don't be the one. Look after the property of the university. I must talk about this. I must talk about this, especially here in East London. You have just arrived here. You have just arrived here. Have you heard about this thing called state capture? Eh? I'm on TV in that thing. It's on TV, right? Okay. If a person wants to capture you, what do they do? What do they do? They give you money, right? They give you money. And then you become a megaphone on behalf of that person. And you hand over your sovereignty as a person, your rights to that person. Your hands do things to please that person. And I'm saying this because, especially here in East London, there are landlords, people with places to rent, that are running vacant. Places that are running vacant. They're going to come to first years and say, brown. They're sending toy so that force the university that we need more. We need more bed space. Now there's no more bed space. They want you to push the university to rent their place. And I'm not making this up. It's there. Don't you, as first-year students, don't you fall for that. Because you'll be captured. You'll do things that you yourself don't understand. And it's very, very, very important. I'm not just speaking I'm not speaking hypothetically. I'm talking about experience. There have been people, adults, they studied. They started businesses. They have money. Their children go overseas for education. we have experience of them bribing students here to go in toys so that the university can rent my building. Don't get involved. Let crooked individuals and crooked adults do their job. Don't get involved. You are here to study. And you have a very short time here, 3 years, 4 years. So please make sure, it's tempting, very tempting. And then you see yourself. You turn into something that even you yourself don't understand. I've seen it before. I don't want to tell stories. I just want to say here, Mr. Lange said Vice Chancellor and Principal and so on. Not Principal lower, not that one. Where if you're unhappy, you go to the principal's office. No. I've lived very far. If you get failed for a module, I don't even know the modules that you do. So don't come to me. I'm trying to say follow the channels. If you have problems with your modules, with your courses, talk to the lecturer. If the lecturer it doesn't bring you joy, go to the head of department. And those things, learn them fast. When you start, head of department, so that you know. If the head of department is not helping, go to the dean. Those are the channels. Write letters to the minister. Minister of Higher Education Training. It's not going to help. The minister is not going to tell the university what to do about modules. No. But if you follow the channels, the problem will be solved. And if there's a lecturer who also does things, the university will fix it. Follow the channels. I'm saying this because I get this avalanche of emails. The person doesn't even say what they're doing, what department they are in, who the name of the lecturer is, not even the module. They say, I have a problem, please help. So that's very important. A very, very important thing. There's a new law now called the Protection of Personal Information Act, POPI Act. I tell you that it came into effect in July last year. That law is going to see many people, especially young people, go to jail. Because those things that you did before, you take a person's kind of academic transcript and you post it on social media, that is jail staring at you right there. Right? Sharing of personal information. Sharing a list with people's names and ID numbers and student numbers, that is jail looking at you. So those things. But also going to class and doing things or going to meetings that are closed and sharing that information, that gets you to jail. So the office of the registrar, and I will introduce the registrar just now, is going to be going around with awareness kind of sessions so that we don't want anyone to end up in jail. But this is going to be the reality now. We've been studying under COVID, so we have resolved that for this semester, first semester, the mode of teaching and learning and assessment is going to be online. It's going to be online for this semester. Okay? Because things are still very, very, very uncertain. And we're being very cautious, and we're very pleased with ourselves that last year, after June, unlike other institutions, we took a decision to let all our students return to campus, but to learn from their residences. Give them Wi-Fi, give them data. And that helps to stabilize, because many of our students come from places where there's no connectivity. And so to expect online, that's why we're letting you back in res, but please maintain and follow the protocol. It's very important. The data will be given to every student, every registered student will be given data on top of the Wi-Fi, so that if one fails, at least you are covered. We do that to all the staff as well, so that they can also be in interaction with you. So again, we appeal to you for patience and so on. The one thing I need to say, the university is made up of levels, of structures. That's where the thing about protocols comes in. It's made of levels. Your problems have to be addressed at a certain level, and then if no joy, you move to the next and the next level. So let me introduce you to some of the people of the levels that we have. I'm very, very briefly, I'm not going to introduce all of them, but I want to introduce, starting from here, Dr. Ntabiseng Taule, who's also Gumanenzambon, asuse ne mask so that you can, when she's there. Maybe you could stand for a minute, Doc. Dr. Ntabiseng Taule is the Deputy Registrar for Research, Partnerships and Innovation. Thanks very much. Her office deals in the main with academics and research and postgraduate studies. So at the moment, while you're doing what you're doing, there won't be much interaction between you and her office. Then the registrar of the university, Mr. Njabulo Zuma, is here, and he will also, so you recognize him when you see him around. He is the registrar of the university, and his office has been very, very actively involved in getting the application process done, in getting the admissions, helping with faculties, and in doing the registration. So the main driver of the interaction, yes, register, they see you. And I think we can give him, and I think we owe your being here, registered and all, mainly to his office, all right? And then the Deputy Vice Chancellor for Institutional Support, which means all the hard things, the properties and services, the security, the IT, HR and staffing matters, is Dr. Oscar van Heerden. You will not be dealing directly with him, but the ICT department, Wi-Fi and all of those things, and all of that fall under him. So he is right there. The payment, rather the data should be paid any day now. His office will tell you when exactly. I'm not putting him on the spot here. All right, I'm then going to very briefly then, the Dean of Law, Professor Mzugi Sinjotini is here. And that's him when you see him around. So those of you who are doing law, before you come, you write to me. In fact, don't write to me. That's a person, that's your ultimate authority of appeal. Appeal. You appeal to him. Professor Njotini later, I can imagine. The next person is the Deputy Registrar for Legal and Governance. Again, that office doesn't work much with you, but that's Ms. Ntibi Mayepa. But there's one important thing. Her office is the main office that processes student discipline. So when you're going to be expelled, she's got a unit that will process you very quickly. Especially GBV, they will process you very, very quickly. And that's Ms. Mayepa there. So just keep on the straight and narrow. Avoid getting to that office. Because my experience, what I've watched, those who go in there accused, very few of them come back. Very few of them come back. So you just know what's good for you. And then we have an anti-GBV unit in the university. And a member of that unit and an acting director of that unit is Dr. Rihanna Olofsson. So once again, she's going to speak to here. That office is also involved in processing you for GBV cases. And I'm putting it very, very mildly as in processing. It's much more than that. Okay, all right. All right, there are other officers of the university. They are busy, but you'll see them as we go along. Now, there are two things that I want to happen. Who's the chairperson of that, of the choir? Yeah? Yeah, please come. If you are, that person must come here. Yes, that you. Okay, let me. All right, leave him while we're waiting for him. When he's coming up to stage, it's a surprise even to him. But let me tell you one thing, as we bring you in and getting you socialized into the history and ways of the university. you will hear many people refer to this university. By the way, it's the University of Fort Hare, not Fort Hare University. No, it's the University of Fort Hare. Many people refer to it by its nickname, No College, right? The reason and the name No College comes from when it was first established. It was the South African Native College. That's where it comes from, the No College. So now that you are registered, you are a bona fide student, you are now entitled to call it by its nickname if you like. You are authorized, you are permitted. But what I'm inviting this gentleman for is to sing 106 years birthday to this university. Kubam Tegas. No, wait. You're going to join in. This is going to be mass singing, but he's going to lead. We're just singing happy birthday to our great university.
Happy birthday to you.
It's got to have that. It's got to have that thing. Now.
To you, happy birthday, Forte. Happy birthday, Forte. Happy birthday, Forte. Happy birthday to you. Hip hip.
Thank you very much and enjoy your time at Fort Hare. Thank you.
Just so I say it, for other speakers, I've been giving 5 minutes, and I was itching in that chair thinking, but I can't, because, CVC. Thank you very much, Prof, for your engaging with the students, because you're saying speeches make people slip. I'm sitting there, as much as I'm itching, I'm noting a few things that are of vital importance to you guys, and I am hoping you have also noted. Besides stepping in the footprints of legends that have walked here, the VC has made it clear you have a responsibility to yourselves, that as much as you're going to earn freedom into adulthood, you must be very responsible citizens of the university and the country at large. Be observant of other people's rights as well, as much as you're going to exercise your own. And he says you must be vigilant of people that are going to use you to pursue their own agendas. They can offer you a number of things. Be vigilant of such people. So not everyone will be looking towards what you're looking at. And he says, value where you come from, because it makes who you are today, and it helps you determine where you ought to be in the future. Do not forget that. And then the VC says, value, protect, and preserve the institution. Remember, you know the university to be an extraordinary university that has been here for now 106 years. And he says, for generations after you, this university must still stand, because it's bigger than me, it's bigger than him, it's bigger than all of you. So it means when you're in the residences or any other building, make sure that you are preserving the institution for the future. I think what he forgot to mention, which he mentioned the previous time, is that the university is now a heritage site. Yes, so that basically means it's been around for a very long time, and you are joining that. And he says the university is attached to history, and I'm saying today, you are making history, because there's a live stream of what we are doing here, and it's the first time that the orientation is being live streamed in the intranet of the university. So already you have made history. But I like the fact that he's challenging you guys to think as presidents of the future. We need another president that comes from the University of Fort Hare, and that's upon you. So thank you very much, Vice Chancellor. That was a beautiful rendition. Expecting the SRC president, or at least a representative from the SRC, I've not received confirmation from the convocation for their president, Advocate Mini. So can the SRC president or any representative from the SRC quickly ascend the stage? You are not going to be like the VC, okay? You have limited time. Amanda! Ma'am, please do introduce your portfolio and your name because you are not the president.
I know, Mr. Lang, I'm not the president. Greetings to the House at large, greetings to the MEC, to the staff, to the university staff, to the students at large. I'm not the president. I am Sipoka Zimbalo. I occupy the Office of Transformation and Gender in the East London campus. I'm assigned here to do just a little thing, just to welcome you to our prestigious university. The president gave me just a small mandate to tell you a few things. That we welcome you in the university. Feel free, be at home, because now this will be your home away from home. We as the SRC, we are always around campus, we are always around everywhere to make sure that we are creating a safe space for you. We are here to listen to your demands. We are here to listen to your grievances. In the past few years, we have realized that we usually have a problem of first years who come to the university to acquire their qualifications, but they get absorbed by the city. So we want to tell you this. For this year, please do not forget why you came to East London. East London is very busy. You will get everything here. So it's a matter of choice to decide, why did you come here? You're all coming here to get your qualifications. Please do not forget that. Also, while in the process of getting your qualification, please do involve yourself in the extramural activities, because you cannot be focusing on school only. We have various departments, we have sport, we have choir, we have everything. Please make sure that you involve yourself. We make sure that we cater for everyone in this institution. Those who are differently abled, we make sure that we cater for them. Those who are gender diverse, we make sure that we cater for them, because we want to be inclusive and we want to make sure that it's a safe space for everyone. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Mpalo. I hear you are the next SRC president. I was just given a note quickly that the SRC president is actually attending to a mass meeting, apparently. So that's why he couldn't be here. And Ms. Mpalo said something vitally important: you are home away from home. So you are being welcomed. You also need to welcome yourselves. You can't keep your minds at home now. You must know where you're at. And that's where your focus should be. Equally, she says, ninga nyoti and sit in your rooms. There's extramural activities that you ought to join. A number of societies and sporting activities that are available on campus. And the next session is going to be primarily on that. It seems, as much as our program says, now we would invite the convocation president, Advocate Mini. He is not here. And so we will move on with the program, and we will then invite upon stage the Gender Equity Office, the acting director, Dr. Olufs. Please ascend the stage, madam.
Good morning, VC. And good morning to the management. Molweni bafundi. Ninjani? Ndifuna ukufunda isiXhosa. Kodwa, I'm not so good yet, so I'm going to stick to English, okay? I want to also welcome you to the university. I want to make you aware of the Gender Equity Office. The Gender Equity Office has only recently been established as in accordance with a gender-based violence and sexual harassment policy, which was passed in 2019. So this is a new, relatively new office. We're still hiring some people. So the office is going to grow. But the office is ready to do what it needs to do. And that is, as the VC said, this policy has teeth. If someone commits gender-based violence, then this office will do whatever it can in order to make sure that justice prevails. And justice prevailing in terms of gender-based violence also means that we keep the rest of the students safe and secure. In terms of the Gender Equity Office and other roles that it plays, it's also the place where you come to report gender-based violence. You can go and report in other quarters as well. If you feel more comfortable to go and report to anyone else, to security, to your warden, then you may do so. But they should and ought to then contact the Gender Equity Office so that we can take it from there. You are very welcome to come straight to the Gender Equity Office. The Gender Equity Office here in East London is in 24 Hill Street. It's right behind the main building, okay? You also have a pamphlet which I handed out. And on this pamphlet, you will see at the back, it says, "Who can help?" Here are some people that will be able to assist you should gender-based violence happen to you. There is a number there under the UFH Gender Equity Office. You can phone that number, or you can WhatsApp if you're more comfortable that way. And that number will be available 24/7. Fort Hare doesn't stop caring about you just because it's weekend or because it's after hours. Please contact that number if anything happens to you. I want to say, finally, because I know that I don't have a lot of time, that as the Gender Equity Office, we also run programs to educate and to make aware. And I really want to appeal to you to attend these. The first event that we're going to hold is going to be on the 10th of March, and it's going to be at Miriam Makeba. That event is going to set out for you in detail your duties, your rights, and your responsibilities as a student of Fort Hare in terms of the gender-based violence policy. Don't come and say, "I didn't know that this was wrong." Don't come and say, "I didn't know that I shouldn't have done that." Because this is all set out for you, and you should familiarize yourself with that. I want to ask you, as first-year students at the University of Fort Hare, let us work together to make this campus, this university, and this country a safer one for everyone who is involved. Gender-based violence doesn't only apply to women, although mostly women are victims, but men and gender non-conforming people are also victims. It affects everyone. Therefore, I want you to know that there is a place at Fort Hare where you can come. We will make sure we support you psychologically, academically, in any way that you need in order to get through the trauma if something happens to you. Let's make this university safe and secure. You might say that this is going to be too difficult, but remember, change has to start somewhere. And I say that change can start here. Thank you very much.
And I repeat, change can start here. Starts now. Starts with you. So I'm hoping you have captured what's being said here. That there are programs in place. There's a programs of awareness that will actually help you understand your duties, your rights and responsibilities as a student. And that there is psychological and academic support that is available for you guys. I hope you've captured the detail about the whereabouts of the venue. And I hope each and every one of you has this copy because there's more detail there. You can WhatsApp, you can call, and everything else. As you are getting to understand the university, the entire university stands firmly against any form of gender-based violence. And there's many different formats of gender-based violence. And some of them might not be known to you. You might think it's just a comment that you're passing, or it's just a heart that you're sending. There's an example you made in Alice, which I don't think these guys have captured, whereby people are sending nude pictures to other people without other people's consent. It's some form of gender-based violence as well. And as much as the VC said that recently, which is last year, now sharing information about people without people's consent can have you arrested. So let's be wary of that. And needless to waste much time, I think I should announce, VC, just for everybody to be alert, that in the other venue, they can now get a projection of what is happening here. And understandably, it's from when Ms. Mbalo spoke. So that basically means the other session that we are going to try and bring here will definitely take the first 1, 2, 3, 4 speakers and the vote of thanks. So at least there is some relief there. I'd like then to call upon the Deputy Registrar Legal, Ms. Maipa, to come and address us. I'm not going to be super strict with time because you now can be seen on the other side. I'm not being fair. Thank you.
Thank you. Sanbonan? Ninjani? Siyaphila. Nitholile imiyalo, ne? Now you know how to behave. I am not going to, I'm not going to dwell too much on how you behave. My office is the Governance and Legal Office. What do you think we do there? Mancabanga, what do you think we do? Governance. No idea. Governance is about how the university is governed, from council to all the committees that help run the university. So we are the office that makes sure that governance principles are complied with by the university. You know that the university was under administration about 2 years ago? Right. That was because the office that I work for was not doing a proper job. So now we are back. We're governing, the university is governing itself. We've got a council, and we are very vigilant about governance. But we're also vigilant about all the rules. So our office is about making sure that the university, whether at governance level, student level, everywhere, all our rules as a university are being complied with. Specifically with relation to students, we are responsible for the rules for student discipline. You heard UVC telling you that basically this is where the buck stops when it comes to discipline. If you go against any of the rules of the university, then we come after you. We have a new code of conduct for students. I had hoped that I would be able to present this properly, but I can't. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually maybe also do a pamphlet for you. It will tell you everything about the code of conduct. It's also in the general rules, so you can go on the website and find it. It's about the principles, the core values that the university holds in terms of student behavior. We're talking about ethical behavior, we're talking about respectful behavior, we're talking about responsible behavior. If you observe all those core principles, you're going to stay out of the way of the legal office and the discipline process. What we do, we have a campus protection services that does investigations. So if you've got anything that you need to report, that's where you're going to go. They investigate and then they give us a docket, and then we prosecute. Now, what you need to know, and which I've found to be the downfall for a lot of students tend to think that when they're in a group, whether it's protest action, whether it's a night out or whatever it is you're doing, then it's okay. You can just go as far as possible in your non-compliance. The problem is that you may be the one that is caught in the group. You see, groups don't matter. The person that we find is the person that gets disciplined. And if you get disciplined, you leave your friends who are not caught, and you will get caught. And you will have a career, your academic career, destroyed. So please do not do this with your friends or following a group. There is nothing wrong with protests per se, but how you do things, and if you engage in unruly behavior that is not protected by the Constitution, and you get caught, you might get expelled. You might get suspended to the point where you lose a whole academic year. So please be careful about the things that you do. Exercise your rights, your academic rights, your constitutional rights, in a manner that does not violate other people's rights. Otherwise, you're going to come to our office. It gives me no pleasure to see any young person in my office being disciplined. It doesn't. But we have to protect the university. A failure of compliance is what got this university into trouble. And we're not going to let it happen again. So we're very, very serious about this duty, this task that has been put on the shoulders of this office. But we're also very open to you coming to us with any questions, if you need any assistance in anything, is something that you don't understand, please come to us. I will make these pamphlets available to everybody. I want to speak specifically about the gender-based violence policy. We do not let anything go. So what we normally get is complaints from people who are victims or who say they are victims, and we prosecute. But we investigate. We've had a tendency of late of people who come in to use the GBV policy for their own ends. So this is what we'd call a frivolous use of the policy. So people will come and say, so-and-so did this to me, but all they are doing is trying to get back at that one, at that other person. Or you have a person who, a female person who beats up a male person and then turns around and cries GBV. We prosecute everybody. Even if you're female and you use the GBV policy for your own ends, you're going to get prosecuted and your academic career may get destroyed. So I really want to avoid that because it wastes a lot of time with us trying to investigate to see what happened. So we don't just take it just because you said it, that it's true. We want to be very supportive of any victim, but we also want to be thorough because an allegation like that can destroy a person's life. So we want to be thorough. We want to protect men and women. We want to protect everybody. So please, do yourself a favor. Stay within the rules. Do not use our office for your own ends, because you'll get the bad end of the stick. We are at on the first floor of Gaston House, the building just across from the road. That's the legal office, if you need to see any one of us. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm sitting there, I've been at Forte for quite some time, but every time these two officers speak, I somehow get intimidated. And I'd like to urge you guys, stay away from messing with these two officers. You really do not want that end of the stick that's been mentioned. You must understand that at all times, whatever you are submitting to them is realistic and genuine. If at any point in time you want to use those two officers, you must fully understand now that after thorough investigations, you might be the person who ends up with an academic life being destroyed. Remember, if you have a criminal record, it's hard for you to go anywhere. It's almost all doors shut. So as much as we usher very much a strong fight against gender-based violence, we equally usher a strong fight against lies that are being told in order to defame somebody else's character. We must, at all costs, avoid such. I think I do want, before I call the Dean of Law, Prof. Njotini, I do want to call upon Ms. Msengana and see if there's any announcements that the floor might need to be aware of. And then, as soon as she gets done, we will then welcome the Dean of Law to come and provide us with the vote of thanks. I'm sure there's a few adjustments that ought to be made, and so she will just provide those few flagged areas. T.
Okay. So, thank you so much, Lloyd, for the stellar job that you're doing as a program director. Let's give him a round of applause. So, VC, what happened is that live stream happened after you had spoken. So the group, what's happening, but they didn't see the first parts of the program. So, into is that instead of everyone repeating, we just got confirmation from the IT live stream guys that it's pre-recorded. So we don't have to repeat everything. Besicela nje uba the part ka-VC yiyo that we're going to repeat for the second group. Then we go to lunch. Then what is going to happen is that these students, they're going to be ushered out by NS Science where they'll have their lunch. There's a group there in that holding venue who missed the session ka-VC. They will come here for that because see early in our program director. So VC can address them and then kuyiwe ku-lunch siyazi basigqibile ke ngoku. So the rest of the management doesn't have to repeat what they've said. We will just make sure that the first years abathe ke ngoku mhlambi bona later on, because we hear that some of them are in class, we will send them a link so that they can watch the program on YouTube. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Msengana. We have Bande Obambo Myalelo. They're saying we're very early as far as the program is concerned. I'd like to call upon Prof. Njotini for a vote of thanks. After which I think we'll have you guys released in order to anticipate the next group. Over to you, Prof.
Good morning, everyone. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Buhlungu, DVC Research Partnership and Innovation, DVCIS, the Registrar, Deputy Registrar, Director, colleagues and our guests of honor, the students, the new students of the University of Fort Hare. I greet you all. My job is very easy, right? It is to do a vote of thanks. But as the VC was talking, the academic in me was wondering about what exactly society expects from the students, particularly the 2022 student cohort, right? The VC talked about some of the challenges or consternations facing society. I mean, one of the gentlemen that was caught and arrested during the riots or whatever, the destruction in KZN, is a CEO of a company, successful company. Some of the people that are giving envelopes to students so that they can stabilize the university are running successful businesses. So I kept wondering, what is the fissure that we have in society, and how can we sort of deal with it somewhat in this occasion? So I think about, it then dawned on me that we need people of significance. Not significant people, people of significance, students of significance. I know that the call now is about, maybe one of you is going to be a president. We're going to celebrate you, but we need presidents of significance. Not just presidents of significance to come out of, of the students that are sitting in front of us. But significance, we all know, is something that we all talk about. Those who don't have significance, unfortunately, think that they do have. By the way, they speak a lot. They are here. But those who don't have significance, they are in this constant, endeavor to recharge their significance, because they understand that the road to success is always under construction. But what is significance? One of our significant students of this university, the late former president Nelson Mandela, says the following, open quote: "What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead." Here we're not talking about someone who or a student who is the best grammar, who can copy and paste the best. We're talking about students who is able to use the knowledge that is going to be inherent in him or her to transform society, to transform their families first, and then transform society. We know there is a vast majority of people, learned people, who really do not pass this test for significance. I've made examples when I started. CEO of a successful business, busy looting. Looting what? Washing machines, flat screens, TVs, and now they are arrested. Evelyn Toffler says that these people fail to meet this test for significance because the illiterate of the 21st century are not those who cannot read and write, right? They will be able to read and write. They will carry huge certificates, huge bags, and carry them to court. I'm talking to my law students. They will carry those bags to court. They will be CEOs of companies. They will also be presidents of countries. But they won't be able to learn, unlearn, and relearn. What we need is that, to be able to understand the importance of significance is a bunch of students that is constantly engaging with the content and lessons in a manner that guarantees that they are able to make difference. And that difference is first to self and to others. I thought with those words, right, I want to then say to you, you've made a good choice. I want to emphasize this. You've made a good choice for choosing the University of Fort Hare, right? We thank you for choosing the University of Fort Hare, and we hope that your stay in this important and reputable institution will be both pleasant and exciting for all of you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. I'm very much tempted, VC, to ask our TV stars, just for one more rendition. For Tekwai, I know you need me to say this over and over again. Whilst I'm talking, can you please ascend? We might need an item from Nina. Okay, so just briefly, I'd like to highlight the following. First year students, as the choir is singing, because another group is going to come through, kindly make your way to the exit, but you can watch the choir for some time. Make your way to the exit. You will be directed by the security to a holding venue where some staff for you is going to come. I'm sure they're going to tell you what it is. There's a lady standing over there next to the door. She's got her hand up. So you'll just listen to the choir briefly. Then you follow the instruction that's going to be handed to you. Yes, otherwise another group is going to be coming up here. Particularly, I'd like to thank you guys for being such a beautiful audience. Thank you for not answering your phone, going up and down. It basically means you already are good students, and I'm hoping this is going to be the same thing for your classes as well. Yeah. Choir, we're handing over to you.
Baba.